Welcome into this Wednesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio this afternoon around 1 o'clock. As we are getting going today, we'll talk a little bit about the staff shakeup that happened during our show yesterday. We learned about it with you guys that were in the live stream. A lot of, several different threads regarding it at rebelgrove.com. So we'll get into what's there, what's going to stay there from our standpoint at least, and more coming up here on today's show. We'll stuff twice, fixed it, sorry. And also talk a little maybe college football playoff expansion, some other things. There's a trade in the NFL today, draft still 1 day away tomorrow night for the first round. So whatever comes out here as the day moves on. The podcast is brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford. Lunch special $5.69 every weekday. 2 sides bread, 32-ounce drink. Different options there those 5 days of the week. You also can download the Speed Pass Plus app. When you do that, you earn points. When you earn points, you save money. They're with all Blue Sky locations in Mississippi. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around, or you can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. You'll love the product. You'll love the service. You'll love everything about Clark Ford. Corey and the people there want to be your car guy. They want to be your truck guy. People say, what does that mean? Call the number. You'll start to find out. 662-257-1900. Guest, join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford. Be a great place this weekend. NFL Draft, Ole Miss, South Carolina here in Oxford. Before the game, after the game, sometime Saturday, whatever the case may be. Stop by, and they got brunch on Sunday. Stop by, get a burger, get a po' boy, great beer selection, full bar, all of that at great atmosphere at Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford and also in New Albany.
So, as mentioned a second ago, Randy Clements out as Ole Miss offensive line. Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Okay.
News to you, too.
Yeah, shocker.
Out as Ole Miss offensive line coach. As we mentioned yesterday, the timing is quite odd. Lane Kiffin removing him from the staff yesterday. I think that's terminology is correct. And, okay, a couple things.
You found out people don't like the word terminate.
Yeah, apparently not. Terminate, I mean, we're not talking about like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's still getting paid for like a year and a half or something.
Getting paid through June of 2022.
Yeah, so a little over a year.
Yep.
And it's no longer 2020. So couple things. We got threads on the message board, multiple threads on the message board from us, not just the abundance of thread, the plethora of threads. They're there by subscribers. And there's info in those that, frankly, is going to stay there. So if you're listening to the podcast, we're not going to dive into a ton of that stuff today. It's not fair to our subscribers. It's not fair to the people who pay $9.99 a month since the Washington administration to have that. So we're going to hit some things. We're going to kind of give some Cliff Notes versions, but not really going to necessarily. Yes, Ron Chernow could write about the rivals.
Well, on page, I've got this book here. I read it. On page 454, it says that Washington got a Rivals subscription.
He paid $9.99.
But he wanted to get the annual, which came out to about $8.47 a month. That was the price during the first Washington administration. It is still the price today during the Biden administration, 45 presidents later. It's right there in the book. I'm reading it, page 454. Washington
there you go.
Wanted to get a Rivals.com subscription. Got that paid for.
Is that one better or
paid
worse?
Paid for with his own money, it says.
Is that one better or worse than Hamilton?
Very similar. It's brilliant writing. I mean,
he's quite good.
I mean, it's a read.
It does take a minute though. You've got to really be committed to read Chernow.
You do. You have to want to read about the subject. But if you want to know about George Washington,
that is the one to grab.
I recommend this particular book.
There are probably a few of them.
This is the one I would recommend. I've read several Washington books.
Have you really?
Yeah.
You don't find they get a little monotonous after the first one?
No, he's fascinating.
Okay.
Go back in time, meet one person, he'd be way at the top of my list.
Without him,
interesting human being.
I mean,
brilliant.
He's the one dude that if he's not there, I'm not sure this thing happens. I'm not saying one dude would prevent it, but I'm saying if it was one dude that had to be there, he might be that one dude.
He's way up there.
I mean, there are a few. Because there's a few that you think don't get the credit they deserve in this thing.
I don't know that Hamilton gets the credit he deserves.
He does more today because of the cult phenomenon of the play.
Yeah.
Not his play, Miranda's play, but nonetheless. I don't think Alexander's getting a lot of royalties at this point, but
yeah, Washington, as Grind said, had to deal with the Pony Express message board.
That's true.
There was a lot of criticism.
Connectivity issues.
Yeah, a lot of criticism out there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Did he cross the right spot on the Delaware, for example? Did he pick the right time? Could he have done it faster?
Could he have fired that general back in November? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, if maybe they would have been a little more organized, they could have done it on the 22nd.
You're probably more well-versed on it than you even would care to admit. Who are the 2 or 3 most important ones who never served as president during that period of time? So obviously Hamilton is one.
Hamilton, Franklin.
Is that where you would go first? Those 2?
Yeah, probably right off the top.
Okay.
There's others.
Well, sure.
Yeah,
laundry list.
A lot of cats. I mean, one of the things I had no idea we were starting here.
It's fine.
I'm always amazed that we don't, as a society, teach the Declaration of Independence for what it is. It's taught as if. Have you ever gone and seen it?
A long time ago, but I don't remember.
It's a powerful thing to look at. To think about what it was when you put your name on that. That's a death warrant for you and your family.
That's about to say. It's a death wish at that point.
It is a powerful document. It's the Declaration of Independence. It's saying, no, we're done.
Yeah.
And we're willing to die to prove it. And a lot of us are going to die. But we're not doing this. It's taught as this very benign, almost like it was a celebration. It was kind of a ceremony.
Like it was the end, not the beginning.
Yeah, and no, this was, hey, it's on.
This is the shot across the bow looking,
it's on. Let's
you
get
can take
ready.
your tax and shove it straight up.
It's let's get ready to rumble. It's that. And we don't teach it that way. When you see, John Hancock's big signature is an F-U.
Yeah.
Because if you lose, every Hancock's dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
That to me, that's one of those really fascinating things to read about, to talk about, to
in the willingness to, hey, we're willing to die if it helps the next generation. If this makes an impact in the future, we're cool with that. It ends now. Yeah. Whatever that means.
Yeah, sure. There's some really people in American history that we don't talk about much, like Benedict Arnold's fascinating. Paul Revere, not just the ride, but the dude.
Yeah, sure.
There's a lot there. A lot of these, those were cats that were cut from a completely different kind of cloth than what any of us can imagine. But when you signed your name on that document that day, let's go. There's no going back. There's no delete button on that. I don't know that gets taught.
Yeah, because they don't know at that point that Great Britain, frankly, didn't really care at that moment.
No.
They didn't realize that it was going to kind of be, whatever, cool.
After a while, that Great Britain would be over here. And I don't think we completely realized that the French held such a grudge against Britain that when they said, hey, they might be able to win that. You see this? The 15's going to beat the 2. Let's help them a little.
Yeah. Provide a little depth here.
Because the French cut off some of the waterways and you suffocated them. And then they didn't really want to be there.
How long before because things do move so slowly then from a word of mouth standpoint. How long before the French even knew that there was a war going on?
That's a good question.
I don't have an answer. I don't know.
I don't know. Because, like there were periods where there was a gap of like 2 months where a message would get to Washington.
Yeah.
Hey, head this way.
But it takes.
Well, yeah. You couldn't send a tweet.
Yeah.
You had to ride a horse.
Yeah, from like New York to Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, and the conditions, as you might imagine, in that part of what is now the United States of America in December, pretty rough.
Yeah. Oh, the French made it happen in a lot of ways. They helped a ton. There's no doubt
sure,
about
of
that.
course. And they didn't want to help us. They just did it in spite of the British.
Yeah, it really it was no obligation to the colonies.
Well, and I think Great Britain in many ways thought, all right, you little bastards, you can have some freedom for a couple of years. You'll be begging us to come back. You this won't work. And you know what? They were almost right.
Yeah, they thought the collection of bozos would screw it up.
And they were close. It was pretty divided. It was pretty rough. That's where Washington comes in. Was this incredible leader. And after his first term was over, when he was kind of ready to walk away and, hey, this isn't really how I intended to spend my golden years.
They had to beg him for that second term.
Begged him, yeah, of course.
We can't have you collapse this right now.
Yeah, without you, we don't know that we can pull this off.
We need 4 more.
Yeah.
I guess it's possible. Since British were everywhere back then, news probably ran relatively fast. Yeah, I just logistically is what I find what I find so interesting with the war, because the information wasn't instantaneous.
Sure.
To where it's, hey, we need to do this, but by the time you find out, it could be too late. It could not be too late. I mean, you're doing a lot of just kind of hoping and praying you're in the right spot in a lot of ways.
The British were the same way. They needed to get information back to
across the
pond, Pretty interesting times.
Yeah, like their general that was over here and whoever was heading it up, I mean, he needs some advice or something to do, and I mean, it could be a month before he even finds out where to go, what anything. So anyway, whatever. I can do it all day. We're not going to. So my disclaimer, we'll do that, and then I guess we're already at a break because we talked Alexander Hamilton for 15 minutes, but
that's your fault.
I know. I find it interesting. I start talking. So here's the gist. Lane's got to hire an offensive line coach. It appears he at least has one or a couple in mind. I don't think this is going to be some crazy search, in my opinion. The timing indicates that, in my opinion.
I've heard he has one in mind. I do not know who that is.
Yeah.
As God is my witness, I don't have a clue.
Yeah, I don't either. So everybody's do it this way. Everybody's freaking out if it doesn't impact Jeff Lebby or anybody else on the staff. I don't see how it impacts anything. Because, look, let's be honest. Lebby's going to have more coaching opportunities if this season goes the way that everybody expects this season to go. Jeff Lebby's going to be a head coach one day. I think there was a pretty good odds, no matter what, that this is probably the final year of Jeff Lebby, and I think this is still probably the final year of Jeff Lebby. I don't think anything necessarily changes from this whatsoever, except Ole Miss has a new offensive line coach at the end of the day.
I tend to agree. I'm probably not quite that absolute as you are with it because Lebby and Clements are so close.
Yeah, sure.
And their systems, people hear close and they think, oh, these two people can't have breakfast in the morning without talking to one another first. No, it's not that. It's their systems are very intertwined. They speak a kind of a unique football language that's their language. They see things in a way differently during the games that allow them to communicate with each other and make adjustments quickly. There's long been this he's only been at Ole Miss one season. This thing that
it feels long.
It feels like it's been a while. Some of that's because of a pandemic, but regardless, there's always been this perception that it's Lane Kiffin's offense, period, the end. Well, that's not true. I mean, we were talking just Monday, I think. I mean, this is Jeff Lebby's offense. And he and Clements a big part of his offense. They'll have to bring in a new offensive line coach who can communicate. He'll have to come in. I guess in this political environment, you must say he or she will have to come in, and you're supposed to laugh at that, Chase. You're supposed to be funny.
I had a couple things I was going to retort, and I went, nope, we're just going to stop. So,
but he's going to come in, and he's going to have to evaluate all of his players. He's going to have to hit the road recruiting because June 1st is going to be crazy here, like it's going to be crazy anywhere. And you're going to have all these – it's going to be a lot to catch up on, a lot to get up to speed, and then boom, before you know it, you're in August and you're in camp, and you've got this offense that just went through spring drills, that just went through a season, and now if there's any tweaking of language or whatnot, you've got to do all of that. I would assume whoever's coming in is going to have to pick up the Lebby Kiffin language more than the kids would have to pick up his language.
Oh, 100%.
So, it's not going to be, I wouldn't think, some seamless deal. But I'm with you. I do think everything pointed at the end of this season there being change. In large part because Jeff Lebby's a hot name.
That's what I'm saying. You survived one by the skin of your teeth. Surviving into a third is hard to believe.
Jeff Lebby was hotly pursued by Auburn when Harsin was hired there at Auburn. And then Jeff Lebby was a strong candidate at UCF before they ultimately hired Gus Malzahn. And had he taken the job at UCF, Randy Clements was going to go with him, in my opinion, as the offensive coordinator. It's not my opinion. It's very educated opinion.
Yeah.
It's – look, the people that are doing this thing like it's the end of the world, no, it's not. In the same way the people that are like, oh, this happens all the time. No, it doesn't. No. The Tuesday after spring drills conclude?
That's not Black Monday.
That's insane. I mean, this was not pre-planned. Something obviously happened that made a simmering pot boil over.
Yeah, accelerated whatever this was.
Yeah, the two spins, and I've seen them both. Why do you do that? I mean, no one's tricked, I don't think. I mean, I guess the most naive people can be spun to believe anything. But no, I mean, firing the offensive line coach off of successful offense that was a pretty good offensive line a year ago on the Tuesday after spring practice, it's nonsensical.
Yeah, that's not normal.
I mean, the Tuesday after the end of the season, sure. Yeah, it didn't work. Hey, we're making a change. That's going to happen at 50 programs in December. But April the 27th?
Yeah, not one of those times.
I mean, if you had that day in the lottery, you're a big winner because that was not a popular choice for when this would happen.
Yeah.
You've had the day after signing day in February. Yep, get it, the perfect day. But no, not the Tuesday after spring
Pretty
drills
sure he was
conclude.
the only position coach at a Power 5 program fired yesterday. Feel pretty good about it.
I mean, it's one of the reasons it was a headline.
Yeah, right. So, podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Citto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. They're getting local underwriting. Understands your market. A leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We are also brought to you by Lammons Fine Jewelry. Lammons Fine Jewelry on just off the square in Oxford, 1126 North Lamar Boulevard. Been serving the Oxford area for about 74 years. Engagement rings, wedding rings, fine jewelry, watches, fashion jewelry, children's jewelry, collectibles, and more. It's the gold standard in fine jewelry. Visit them at lammonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777. We are also brought to you by Comer Heating and Air. We want to make sure that air conditioning unit is in tip-top shape as we get into the hot months. 662-801-1777 to get in touch with the people at Comer. It's the name you can trust with more than 50 years of professional HVAC experience in Oxford, Tupelo, and the surrounding area. The College Corner is your one-stop Rebel Shop. 2 locations in the Jackson area, one in Ridgeland, one in Flowood. You can also go to collegecornerstore.com. And you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Whether you're tailgating in Oxford or home gating with friends and family, the College Corner has you covered for game day, the largest selection of Rebel gear in central Mississippi. And we're brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. They're based in Madison, Mississippi, with clients in more than 20 states, advisors in multiple states as well. What happens with Pinnacle Trust is they do the opposite of the cookie-cutter financial planners. They don't put you in some box. At Pinnacle Trust, they build a box that's built just for you, to your specifications. Pintrust.com, P-I-N-N Trust.com. And we're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John's been in the travel business for almost 4 decades. He knows the extra attention that's needed to make a special trip one that creates a lifetime of unique memories. So if you are heading out this summer, a lot of things starting to open up, some news kind of popping around the South, at least, with openings and that kind of thing just today. So if you want to find out what the latest is to make sure that you get a vacation that's perfect for you, get in touch with John, give him some parameters, give him a budget, and let him give you some options. And you don't have to live anywhere near Memphis to take advantage of the services. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast.
Podcast is brought to you by Visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com. Go to the events page, see what else is going on locally every single day and week. This weekend, the spring pop-up edition still ongoing. Art vendors from 10 to 5. They're in a couple of different alleys along the Oxford Square, including Tunes Around Town Saturday night, 5 to 7 for that. 4 different artists set up at different spots around the square as well for a little music if you'd like to walk around and see that. Reminder, the double-decker bus tours are sold out this weekend at 3 and 4 o'clock on Friday, but next week and the next week still availability there. So you can find out more at visitoxfordms.com/events. We didn't mention this on the show. I'm sure people saw it everywhere else, but Sunday's baseball game moved to 11:30 from 12, just up 30 minutes there for a start time on Sunday.
Strategic.
So, I would assume plane-related for the Gamecocks. Getting back to Columbia would be a hunch, but yeah, and you never know. Maybe they found out that when his teams play early, it takes a little while to wake up, get a little advantage there early on in the day.
Probably so.
I have no idea as far as, I don't know what day they're going to throw Gunnar Hoagland. I expect him to be back this week. I know he threw a bullpen yesterday and felt pretty good. Now, today's the day. Was he stiff again, or are you completely over it? However, his bullpen was completely normal yesterday, so that's the first step.
So if he feels good today, he probably could go
fine.
Friday.
Yeah, because he actually is throwing his bullpen one day early. Typically, a bullpen's 2 days before your start, and this would have been 3. So I don't know why they had to change. I don't know the reasoning for some of the rehab that goes along with that, but so far so good with him and his recovery. Or I didn't really have to call it recovery, but
I wonder if he'll throw just a little light toss today if he feels good,
just to see if
to make sure.
And I would assume they still were fine with him throwing on Fridays if that's the way they would set it up, I think. He's been fine. It hadn't been his fault. They almost haven't scored runs for him. I mean, they're 2-3 in his 5 starts so far, or the last 5 starts, whatever it is. So, I don't know. Anyway, but just a couple news items there.
I'd almost be tempted to hand it to Diamond on Friday and say, let's see what happens, and then have an advantage on Saturday and Sunday.
In the last 2.
Yeah. Well, and he pitched really well last Friday.
He was good. Yeah, he kind of fed off that opportunity a little bit, I thought.
Well, I mean, if the first inning they don't kick the ball around, there's no telling what he throws.
Yeah, he wins.
He might have gone 8 and given you 1 run or whatever. He was really
Middle
good.
of the game, he was locked the hell in.
I thought he had pretty good stuff early, but, I mean, when the ball gets hit in the infield, not his job to field it.
Yeah.
And then I said this early in the week because I won't beat it to death. Given all that he had been through and his confidence being shaken and his command being off and all of that, when that starts happening, I was like, oh, man, we're about to find out about because
you could go in the tank.
Well, you could fold up right there, and I don't know that anybody would completely blame you.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't. If anything, he got better.
And he sat down 11 in a row after that.
Yeah, I thought that was that. I don't know the kid.
Yeah.
I think he has phenomenal stuff. I think he's got great stuff. I just think his arsenal is right there.
It's mental. He's a young kid.
I'm guessing that's something. I'm going to guess, and I could be completely wrong. I'm going to guess that he can't wait to get on the mound. You want to build off that. Threw about 85 pitches, I think, against LSU.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, I thought he was really good.
Yeah, what we're saying is throw Diamond on Friday, and then throw in whatever order you'd like to Hoagland and Casey on Saturday and Sunday, because you're going to have definite advantages those 2 days on the mound.
Yeah.
Doug's pretty good number 3.
I'd leave Doug in the second spot. He seems to like that spot.
He kind of likes any spot.
Yeah.
I mean, he even games. I mean, he'll game for you on Friday night. He just doesn't necessarily have the top-end stuff you typically see on a Friday night. But I do think that first spot in a weekend is kind of attitude-based. I think it's up to the pitcher to set a tone a little bit for the weekend in that game. That's one of the big negatives to pitching backwards.
And Gunnar probably wants that spot.
Yeah, everybody wants that spot. You're a competitor.
Everybody says they want it.
Okay, fair.
Not everybody really wants it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure some guys are relieved to be in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some cats that want to go opening night,
Yeah.
and there's some cats that really don't.
Kumar wants the ball opening night.
Bad.
Yeah. Curious to see how Leiter bounces back this weekend.
I'm betting on him.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't suck or anything.
No, he's human.
He got banged around a little bit.
Well, you know those cats that take the bats up to the plate?
Yeah.
Most of them pretty good.
Yeah.
Most of those guys were the best player in the history of that high school.
That's true, even at this level.
Yes.
Other than your factory schools. I mean, that's...
I mean, it's hard to become a starting SEC player.
It's why you wonder a little bit.
That shortstop at South Carolina,
Yeah.
he was really, really good in his little league. I'm just going to tell you. I mean,
when he was 12, he got picked early.
I'm going to fill you in. That dude dominated the Dixie Youth League, crushed it. I don't even know his name, but I'm going to tell you he was good.
You know, I get why it happens, and I get the specialization that happens or whatever. But, you mentioned this high school thing. The kid that's pitching in the SEC, 95% of them were also the shortstop and the best hitter.
Yeah.
We take the bat out of the hands of our best players at the college and, frankly, the pro level to some extent by them specializing on the mound at that point.
Sure.
You can't tell me that none of Ole Miss's pitchers have D1 capability with the bat as well. Had they nurtured that.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that when he was 12, 13 years old, that Doug Nikhazy was a pretty good hitter.
He hit for Team USA last summer.
That's what I'm saying.
He didn't pitch, but he still played and hit.
And I'm
I
sure
mean,
some
Derek
of it,
Diamond can legitimately hit.
yeah, I'm sure some of it is we just don't want to get him hurt.
Well, Mike says, look, I'm not about to sprain an ankle rounding first base with a starting pitcher.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. I mean, it's why with the lineup the way it's been the last few weeks, with Diamond not starting on the weekend, I kind of go,
Yeah.
can he play first base?
Yeah, because he probably could.
Can he throw him over there and just see what happens?
Well, I don't know that he could be any worse defensively. I'm just kind of keeping this real. I hate to.
Not the kid's fault.
I hate to cast aspersions, but
Not the kid's fault,
no.
but they're not good there.
I mean,
There's not a lot of range.
that's one.
Diamond's a really athletic kid.
It's a nice way of putting it. Not a lot of range.
Well, there's not.
Not sure there's any range.
Jerk. So anyway, I don't
mean,
know.
there's
What?
No, it's not fair. There's a couple balls that got hit in that Mississippi State inning where the fan base went ballistic.
That we're not, yeah.
A little bit of range maybe knocks a ball down, makes a play.
I don't think a starting pitcher would I would assume a starting pitcher wants the ball and doesn't want to do the opener thing. And I don't think the opener works at the college level. I don't think you have enough depth for it.
No,
I know Florida did it and they pulled it off for a game.
but he was trying to shake up his team a little bit, and it worked temporarily.
Well, and you're throwing a really important bullpen guy when you might not have to.
Yeah.
That's the thing, too, is you're guaranteeing you're using depth right there
Well, I mean,
when these teams don't have depth.
Let's say you start Hoagland and he goes 7, and when he leaves, it's 8-1.
There's no reason Broadway should be in the game.
You're pitching kind of your back end bullpen guys and telling them, if I have to go to my closer, I swear I'm going to hurt you in the locker room. You should leave before I get there.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to win 9-4 at that point.
Uh-huh.
And then,
when you do an opener, you're guaranteeing that one of those top 2 or 3 bullpen arms are pitching at that point. And that's not, it's different on a major league roster where you're comfortable with so many guys pitching and they've got a real specialization for this kind of thing. But in college, I just don't see where, I think you're blowing your bullpen for no reason because there are a lot of lopsided games in college baseball where, hey, why'd you throw that guy 2 innings? It was 9-3. Whatever.
Yeah, sure. So especially when you're a team like Ole Miss, you don't have a deep bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be careful.
The argument that can be made right now is that their number 2 most trusted reliever is Jack Doherty. At least an argument. A kid was redshirted 2.5 weeks ago. Something like that. I think Mike he obviously trusts Broadway. He trusts Doherty to some extent. He trusts Austin Miller. And I think he's beginning to trust Wes Burton. And he trusts Tyler Myers in situations. And then Diamond or McDaniel.
Mike's going to have no choice but to trust some people.
Oh, he has to.
Because,
frankly, you're going to wear out everybody else if you don't.
It's not an option.
You got to have 5-6 dudes.
You might as well just say, hey, I believe in you, and
cross some fingers.
Let's go. See what happens.
Hope it works.
Yeah. I did get asked in my mailbag about Hoover.
Uh-huh.
You agree with my answer that it's utterly meaningless this year?
Well, it hardly ever means anything anyway.
But sometimes it's like, okay, this team's competing for one last spot, or this team's trying to get a national seed, or whatever. All that stuff's going to kind of already be done.
I think it would matter I don't think it matters national seed or host at all, especially with those already having been announced.
Right.
I was told, by the way, that we were right or you were right or however you want to phrase this. The really stupid thing wouldn't happen. The host school will be the 2 seed in their own regional if they fall off after that point. But they're guaranteed to play at home.
Because that would be idiotic.
So if Ole Miss gets a host and then loses 5 of 6 coming in, they'll be the 2 in Oxford with a 1 seed playing in their tournament.
That's where you'd hope for that team that plays up in Brooklyn.
Fairfield?
Yeah.
Come be our one, guys.
We'll let them be the one.
Yeah. Congratulations.
They can wear the white uniform.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't know. Ole Miss wearing grays. We got problems. So, anyway, I think it could matter for a team that just needed a couple extra league wins to get in, period. So I wonder maybe like a Kentucky or an Alabama that had to win a couple, maybe. That's the only that's the only way I think it matters. But I do wonder, I don't think Ole Miss, anybody in that top 7 or 8 teams is doing anything in Hoover that makes any sort of difference at all. But I do wonder about a Kentucky or say, here's an example. Because their RPI is where it is, what if LSU finds a way to 13-17? And they go to Hoover and they go, really could use a couple here to kind of.
Yeah. To get in as a 3 somewhere.
Because they're left out right now even with a 22 RPI.
How pissed off would you be if LSU shows up as your 3?
Well, that's not ideal for you.
Yeah.
That seems unfair.
That could not go well.
Well, I mean, it's a lot like, Ole Miss is scary as hell for whoever, if Ole Miss ended up at 2 somewhere, because you're going to get Nikhazy or Hoagland.
Sure.
And you're going, God, got a problem here.
Sure.
I mean, that's, because Ole Miss is as good 1-2 as anybody.
Of course.
Other than Vanderbilt. And you can make the argument Doug Nikhazy is the SEC Pitcher of the Year.
Sure.
The argument's there from a straight, he's not going to win, but from a straight statistical
the numbers are there.
Standpoint.
Yeah, the numbers are there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Leiter wins.
Yeah, I think so. He's been the most dominant guy.
He has been the most dominant guy. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So, we're going to talk a little football playoff stuff, maybe some movement here. We might have to just tease this a couple minutes in, then come back and finish the conversation. But The Athletic, a story by Andy Staples and Stuart Mandel that came out today. One quote in particular says, I sense 12 teams is building support, talking about the college football playoff moving forward. They said that there are 2, this is a quote from a college administrator familiar with the discussions, there are 2 unintended consequences people didn't see when they created the playoff. 1, seeing the same teams over and over from one part of the country. It's impairing the product because there's boredom. There's risk to not enough geographic spread. Secondly, the brand damage to a conference who doesn't get in.
Yep.
I don't necessarily, the second part's true for sure. You see conferences go way down the pecking order quickly if they can't find a top-end team to get into the playoff. The other thing is, I'm sure there's a geographic element, but I don't even really think it's a geographic element. I think it's just the same teams, period.
I agree with you completely.
I think it's just because it's Alabama and Clemson. It's not that they're all from the South or the Texas or anywhere else. That's a bit of a PR cop-out. It's because it's the same 2 or 3 teams, period.
It's Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, Ohio State every damn year.
Yeah. So just
that's who's in it every year. And everybody goes, well, there's a different. Yeah, but I think there's a stat. It's like of the last 28 bids, those teams have 20 of them.
Oh, really? I'll look for it
It's something insane like that.
Yeah, 28 of 20. Of the 28 available spots in the playoffs so far, Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, and Oklahoma have filled 20.
I mean, damn.
The Pac-12 hasn't placed a team in the playoffs since 2016.
I mean, LSU's made an appearance, obviously. Auburn's made an appearance, I think.
The Big 12 missed in 14, 16, and 20. Big 10 missed in 17 and 18.
Who else besides Oklahoma has made an appearance from the Big 12? Am I missing something? I'm having a hard time drawing a
I'm
Big
looking
12
up
team.
the teams that have been in it.
Washington made an appearance, I think.
Yeah, Michigan State has been in it.
Michigan State's been in it. Ohio State's been in it a ton.
There aren't many. I mean, and Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, yeah.
I mean, Notre Dame's been in it. But, I mean, yeah, college football playoff, I'm here. Appearances. Alabama, 6 appearances. Clemson, 6 appearances. Ohio State, 4 appearances. Oklahoma, 4 appearances. LSU, 1. Oregon, 1. Georgia, 1. Florida State, 1. Michigan State, 1. Washington, 1.
Wow.
That's it.
That's where your fatigue is. The fatigue's just the same teams.
The SEC has 8 appearances. There have been 6 seasons of it. Or 7.
Okay.
Has Alabama gotten in every year? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. No, they skipped 19. There's been 7.
LSU knocked them out that 1 year.
There have been 7 seasons of it. The SEC has 8 appearances in 7 seasons. So their champions gotten in, and Alabama and Georgia got in that 1 year that they played for the title. The SEC is 11-4 in its college football playoff appearances.
Roll Tide.
Yes. Yeah, 6 for Alabama, Georgia 1, LSU 1. The ACC is 6-6. Clemson, Florida State, Notre Dame getting credit for the SEC. Big 10, 3-4. Only Ohio State 4 times, Michigan State 1. Big 12, 4 is 0-4, but it's all Oklahoma.
Okay.
They've lost 4 times, never won a game in the playoff. Then Pac-12, 1-2, Oregon and Washington there for them. And then Notre Dame, the one time, is an independent.
So 12 teams is 4 byes and then an 8-team play, 4 games to get into a quarters.
That is correct, yes.
You like the bye idea more than I do. I'm fine with it. 12 is fine. I mean, people are going to say, well, the bowl games get watered down.
No one cares.
Newsflash, they're already watered down.
Yeah, well,
top players are pulling out of bowl games left and right.
Curious why you think so. So hold that there. I'll tell you the podcast brought to you in part by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer med-synced prescriptions the same day every single month to make sure you get what you need when you need it. One trip, whether it be delivery or pick up there at the pharmacy, and you have all the pharmaceutical needs that you have during that month. Again, you find out more what the community pharmacy can do for you, 662-236-2222.
We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan is the place to go. They got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. We're also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. They've got a commercial checking account now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. Comes with fully interactive online banking. To learn more about OUB, check out liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. I've got a mailbag up on the site. It's brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all of your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. She sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. If you want to get in touch with Whitney, call her at 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844. And we're brought to you by Bain, Moss & Bowen, located in historic downtown Corinth. Their firm practices a wider range of law, from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. Bain, Moss & Bowen's the only firm in Mississippi made up of a sitting state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit court judge. Their experience is unmatched in that regard, and you can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth or by calling them at 662-287-1620.
So what is it about the buys you don't like?
I mean, I don't know. I literally, when you said that, you're like, I'm interested to hear it, and I was reading ads and thinking to myself,
what's really your problem?
What's really my problem? And I don't know.
Because I don't mind giving a benefit to the top 4 teams. It's fine.
Sure. It's cool.
Like the first round games, bowl games. You still going to do that anyway.
And it makes I say play them on campus.
That's fine too.
5 versus 12, 6 versus 11, 7 versus 10, 8 versus 9, and play those big bad boys on campus.
Washington at Georgia, and sure.
And I don't care if you want to let the teams that lose in that first round go play in a bowl game. It's fine with me. I don't care. People do the bowl game watered down thing. This is the part that I think you and I are in complete agreement.
Uh-huh.
We're all going to watch the damn things. We say we won't. They come on. You're like, there's the Las Vegas Bowl. It's TC somebody versus, and it's on. The only people that are locked to it are people that have gambled on it or who went to one of those schools.
Yeah, we don't really care about the quality of play.
I mean,
it's just a game.
It's just a game. It's December the 23rd. It's 3:00. You're like, I can pour a beer, right?
Be close at the end. Something crazy happened.
Yeah, you're not locked into it unless you're truly just a degenerate.
If it's close, you're entertained, and if it's not close, you go, okay, click. Oh, Shawshank Redemption's on.
Or you just leave it on and you walk away, and you go turn the grill on or something. I don't know. It's football. Who's saying no to more football? But those would be good games. 5 versus 12. I don't know. Do you have like the last year's BCS rankings or something where we could pull them up and see what those games were? I'm good with it.
NFL scout speaking in that said that he did not believe that any more opt-outs would happen whatsoever. That basically,
well, they're not opting out of a playoff.
That's what he said. He goes, it's the playoffs. He goes, if it was the CampingWorld.com Bowl, okay, but
Elijah Moore kind of proved that.
Yeah,
he wanted to play in the Egg Bowl because he wanted to win that last game, and then he's like, okay, I need to look out for me now. No one held it against Elijah Moore that he didn't play in the Outback Bowl. No one smart. But if that game had been a national quarterfinal, I guarantee you Elijah Moore plays.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, of course. Just scrolling across my Twitter here for any golf fans out there. Ole Miss women's golf, a number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. They're headed to Baton Rouge. So anyway, that just came across there for Corey's program.
Real quick, congratulations to Matt Mott and the soccer team last night, too. That was a crazy game.
Yeah, 7 rounds of penalty kicks last night. 0-0 after regulation, 0-0 after overtime, and then
there's some parents in the stands that were guzzling like Mylanta or something.
Well, because Bowling Green had it on their foot a couple times where if they score the penalty kick, they win. Because they were going second. Because Ole Miss missed its first 2 penalty kicks. Yeah. So Bowling Green.
There was acid churning in Matt Mott's gut at that point.
You're dying. I mean,
get back to the hotel and just throw up.
Yeah, and then in the 7th overtime or penalty kick period, Ole Miss scores and they stop Bowling Green there. SEC does have. I mean, Ole Miss does have the SEC goaltender of the year. Her name escapes me right now, but I do know that. So
yeah, kudos to.
I think a local kid scored the game-winning goal, right?
Yeah, girl from Oxford.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So she was probably good in high school. So we're talking about
Charger soccer. Yeah, she's the best. She's the best soccer player, best female soccer player to ever play at Oxford.
Yeah. So
yeah, there you go.
Okay, fair enough.
Point proven.
All right, so had the 12-team playoff thing been a thing this season, we would have gotten – your buys would have been the 4 teams that had come in. So we've got Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Notre Dame.
Okay.
In your first-round matchups, let's say they're on home campuses just for the hell of it.
5v12, 5's at home.
Coastal Carolina in College Station to face Texas A&M.
Okay.
Everybody's watching that.
Yeah.
Every damn body's watching that.
I'm interested if they go and played it now.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm in.
Yeah.
It's all good. Oklahoma at home against Indiana.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm not as interested, but I'm
you'd
still
watch.
Interested. Yeah, I'm good.
You're not turning your nose up at that game.
Gainesville, Florida hosting Iowa State.
Oh, locked in.
You're good there.
Absolutely.
And then a game we actually did get, except it would be in Cincinnati placing Georgia.
Which turned out to be a great game.
In an 8-9 game.
Cincinnati would have been at home against Georgia.
That's correct.
Would have been the biggest game in Cincinnati Bearcat history.
It would have, yes. That would have been your playoff this past season.
Weather would have been a factor, all that stuff, and I'm in.
Yeah. If scratch teams win, then Cincinnati would play Notre Dame, Florida would play Clemson, and then Notre Dame, A&M, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Florida, Clemson, Alabama, Cincinnati in quarters.
Sure.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this.
No, it's
at
fine.
all. I like the buys. I'm good with 8. I'm good with 12. Any more than 12 and I'm watered down, I don't care, though. I will say that.
Sammy says take Coastal the points. See, it's all gambling.
That's all it is.
But people will say, well, this waters down the regular season. That's going to be the one knock. The purists, and they're out there because they're out there. They're going to say, well, if you go to 12, it waters down.
It brings more teams into the fold where November actually matters for more teams.
Yeah.
It doesn't water it down.
No. I'm with you.
College football is 2 things. We talk about baseball and all these things being different. It is a national sport and a regional sport.
Sure.
College football. This just brings even more teams in. That rivalry game that, let's go win the egg or the bucket of nails or whatever it is we're playing for. Well, now if I win, maybe I sneak in as the 12. Maybe I am the 11. You're watching the SEC championship next week going, hey, if Alabama beats Florida, they're going to fall below, and then all of a sudden we move this.
And you want one of the top 4 spots. I mean, you're not.
Oh, no, that's still
you're
important.
Not
you don't have to play.
Alabama's not going, you know what, we're 11-0. We don't need this Auburn game.
No, you like the week off. I don't want to go to Cincinnati and deal with them next week, just for the hell of it. It's 8 or 12.
I mean, a hypothetical 10-1 Ole Miss doesn't go, the Egg Bowl doesn't matter.
We'll still sneak in.
If anything, it means even more.
An SEC source was asked about it and said, which one do you guys prefer? Said whichever one gets 3 SEC teams in was their answer.
12.
Yeah. Well, in 2012, they pointed out the SEC would have gotten 5 teams in.
And I'm good with that.
Whatever.
Well, you know what I say about Omaha every single year.
They want 8 teams with names on them.
If it's 8 SEC teams, great. If there's no SEC teams, so be it. Take the best 8 teams. Let it be, and I know this is controversial, let it be a meritocracy. But if you took 12, it takes away all of the BS. You take all 5, the Power 5, they all get in. The best group of 5 is going to get in. And then you're going to get some really good teams with warts who stumbled. With the chance to prove that.
Lost early. And then.
With the chance to prove that, hey, we've overcome it. Nobody bitches in basketball when a red-hot team wins.
No, not at all.
No one goes, they lost those 2 games in November.
UCLA, they played in the final.
Yeah, they were awful early.
They're a bad basketball team.
And nobody ever does that. So why we do that, and we only do that in college football. Well, they lost in September. Okay, yeah, but did you watch them in November?
Just to do one more round here, in 19, your first-round games would have been Georgia against Auburn, Oregon against Utah, Baylor against Penn State, and Wisconsin against Florida.
Yeah.
Nothing there. It's all good.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever. And Alabama would have just missed at 13.
And it kills some bowl games, probably. And frankly, some bowl games need to get killed. Some bowl games need to get killed.
We have like 40.
But I wouldn't mind if you let Georgia loses to Cincinnati let Georgia go play in a bowl game. Send them to the Outback Bowl or whatever. It's fine. Who cares? I mean, does anybody really care? The bowls are just for ESPN.
Yeah. And this will be money-based.
And then if, your starting quarterback goes, well, I played in the playoff, but I'm going to opt out. Okay, cool. We'll play the backup. What difference does it make?
Did you read the story on ESPN.com today or know anything about it? It says inside the Knicks' secret attempt to lure Michael Jordan from the Bulls.
No.
I haven't read it. Just saw it in front of ESPN.com.
Be interesting.
Yeah, I might bookmark that.
Something tells me the Bulls weren't listening to too many calls on Michael Jordan.
You don't think so? No.
Although Reinsdorf was weird. I mean, he came super close to trading Pippen.
What would that have cost?
Can't remember what it was. It was Sean Kemp and something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's a deal that basically got done, and then they didn't make it happen.
I mean, that would have hurt the Bulls.
No, Pippen fit the Bulls really well because of his ability to defend.
Yeah. Bridgewater traded to the Broncos for a 6th-round pick today. Probably does not change anything draft-wise for Denver at all, I wouldn't think. But there's some news. What's Carolina doing?
I think they're listening to calls.
Just trying to figure it out.
I think they're going to trade down.
Trade down?
Yeah.
We kind of knew this anyway, but D1 Baseball came out with their stock report today, kind of did a national seed host kind of deal. Ole Miss not even on the bubble for the national seed. We knew that.
Right,
Just pointing that out. From a regional standpoint, they have Ole Miss the first team out. However,
where's South Carolina?
I think it's being cute. I think they would be in if they really were a committee doing anything today. I do. They have Carolina on the bubble in. On the bubble in as a host, they have Stanford, Louisville, Charlotte, South Carolina, Pittsburgh, and Nebraska. Again, they're being very cute. On the bubble out, Ole Miss, Texas Tech, La Tech, Oregon State, Southern Miss, Gonzaga, and UC Irvine. So they're fringy.
Sure, they need to beat South Carolina this weekend. Need to win the series.
Yeah, says.
I mean, I don't think it's a stretch to say if Ole Miss wins the series this weekend, they feel pretty good about hosting, and if they lose the series this weekend, they don't.
Yeah, they have a little bit of a line here on Ole Miss. Said Ole Miss lost a home series against an LSU team that had been 4-11 in the SEC entering the weekend, and the Rebels also lost ace Gunnar Hoagland to injury, at least temporarily. They've lost 4 straight series, and we don't like how they're trending, but they're still 15th in RPI with a 9-6 record against the top 25 in the RPI and a 10-8 record in the SEC. So a series winning home against South Carolina this weekend would put them right back into hosting position, quite possibly at the Gamecocks' expense. South Carolina held its ground by winning 1 of 3 against top-ranked Arkansas this past weekend, leaving it 11-7 in the SEC, and a series win in Oxford this weekend would put the Gamecocks in great shape to host.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a winner-take-all this weekend.
Kind of feels that way.
Because Ole Miss doesn't get any buzz at all out of beating A&M next week. You got to beat A&M just because you're supposed to beat A&M. That is not a resume builder because the Aggies suck.
No, a series win over Carolina is a resume line.
Oh, it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Seeing how many from the SEC are getting in here with them, I'm just kind of curious. Scrolling down. They have 9 SEC teams getting in. On the bubble out, Kentucky and Alabama. So they currently do not have Alabama or Kentucky on the bubble. Georgia got back to 9-9 in the league, and they have Georgia in the tournament right now. So it shows you such a line of separation here in the SEC. Arkansas, Vanderbilt, State, Tennessee, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Florida, and Georgia, the teams they have in the NCAA tournament moving forward. So Connor Prelup still has not come back for Alabama, and it makes you wonder if he's just not coming back at this point.
I would think at this point he's just not.
I don't know, but they still have not announced what's wrong. They will give no information about what's wrong with him at all.
Bad enough to miss 2/3 of the season.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's weird that it's not leaking out. I don't understand how it's not leaking out at this point.
How much media really covers Alabama baseball, though?
One person, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he were draft eligible, we'd be having a lot more of a discussion here, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
They still have a year before he has to deal with the draft standpoint. At that point, it would be, hey, what's...
Well, then you'd have pro guys digging in on it.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, he's a 1-1 candidate if he's healthy.
Sure.
And he's not, well, I mean...
I'd guess that there's something that they've just decided to shut him down for the year.
There's no reason to even think
You'd rather have him healthy for next year.
about risking anything. Braves and Cubs trying to finish up a set where one team's 10-13, the other one's 11-12, so playing really good baseball early on between those two.
Braves have won both games pretty easily, right?
No, one of them was they came back late. No, they had the 4-0 lead, and then Brian hit a grand slam. It went 4-4.
Yeah.
They ended up winning like 8-7, 8-6, something like that.
That's right. It was 8-7 because Contreras hit the home run late to close the gap.
Okay. They won handedly yesterday.
Now Bryant's hurt again.
Is he?
Baez is hurt.
So you don't like their playoff chances?
Oh, no. I've told you all along, this is not a playoff team. This is a bad team. This is a fire sale team.
They're not bad.
Pretty bad. Throwing Kyle Davies out there every 5 days.
Do you think they're starting over soon?
Yeah, I think they're going to fire sale. I think they're going to have to trade people. Speaking of the Braves, full attendance May 7th. Did we say that yet?
We did not say that yet.
Full attendance.
Truist Park. They need to stop changing the name of the park, but Truist Park.
Just Braves Park.
Well, just pick a sponsor and let them pay for 10 years, and let's stop doing this.
2007. I mean,
May 7th.
May 7th.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
So is Athens full attendance? I don't know.
I would think.
I was told LSU is going to 100% attendance this weekend. I haven't seen that. I haven't looked for it, but I was told that earlier today. That wouldn't shock me either.
And not to get back on my Monday NCAA rant, but if all these places can go 100, there's no reason regional should be stuck at 50.
Well, absolutely.
You just simply you're being idiotic if you stick to that.
But when you're talking about the organization, actually, I'm going to give you a different thought here, and maybe you completely agree. I don't know. Twitter was all abuzz and losing their mind yesterday because Mark Emmert was given an extension through 2025.
Yeah.
Losing their minds. How can they do this? They're incompetent. Who says Mark Emmert's not doing exactly what the NCAA wants Mark Emmert to do, which is take every bullet in the world and make people money?
He is he's
want
Bud Selig.
They want Kevlar. They don't want somebody to be completely fair and blah, blah, blah. That's not his purpose.
No, it's why the NFL continues to give Goodell raises.
He's making them money.
He takes the hits.
Yeah. We're going to pay the hell out
We're
of
going to
you.
pay the hell out of you, but when the bullets get fired, we want you to absorb them.
Yes.
Put on your vest
and take it.
And take it.
And count your money.
Take it like a man.
Yeah.
Do not throw Jerry Jones under the bus.
Uh-uh.
Don't let Jerry Richardson fall under the bus.
Uh-uh.
Or whoever the owners are now.
Yeah.
You take those hits.
Uh-huh. And he does it.
Don't deflect them. Absorb them.
And then we'll all move on. And
because the media will move on to the next victim next.
Yeah. So no, people are misguided there. The NCAA is never about fairness.
No, the Emmert thing says that truthfully, people are, hey, tell Mr. Emmert we appreciate it.
I mean, they buried it at the bottom of a press release, but otherwise they're telling you exactly the way they feel.
Yeah.
A little fascinating.
He'll say things that aren't necessarily politically correct anymore, and he'll say things that people go, God, man, you guys, the system's archaic. And he's the one that goes, yeah, but it's our system.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to defend that bad boy.
And I'm going to defend it right now.
Yeah. And
in return, I'm going to make $20 million for the next 6 years.
I know. Podcast brought to you in part by Northeast Spark, SPARC, 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig, that powers the Clark Ford studio. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband, nespark.com, 662-238-3159. Phone services available, parental controls, network security, and more. Find out if they're in your area. If so, take advantage of the best internet around, nespark.com, 662-238-3159.
We're also brought to you by Alpha Specialties, located at 1670 Highway 80 in Pearl, Mississippi. They're your trailer-specific professionals. If you want to haul it, they can call it. We've told you about how they have Load Trail. We've told you about how they have Hallmark cargo trailers. They also can work with third parties to have game day trailers and concession trailers built just for you. For podcast listeners, they have spare tires and wheels starting at just $100, a full selection of trailer parts and accessories, hitches, winches, straps, and more. They also do all types of truck accessories, and listeners can get 10% off a yearly trailer service and inspection at Alpha's full service shop. Give them a call, 601-932-9798, or check them out at alphaofms.com. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit, and hand-tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi. One size fits one at BlueDeltaJeans.com. Husbands, fathers, children, Mother's Day is May the 9th. Don't wait until the very last minute to get a gift for the mother in your life. A custom pair of Blue Delta jeans is a great way to show you care and give a gift that will bring a lifetime of joy. So visit BlueDeltaJeans.com, purchase a gift card that can be redeemed in person or online, or contact the folks at Blue Delta to schedule an in-person fitting for the mother in your life. And don't forget to use the code Rebel Grove online or in person for 10% off any pair of jeans. And we're brought to you by The Rogue. Find your destination for fine men's clothing. Their stylist hand-select pieces from top designers. From work to lifestyle to nightlife, there's the perfect something for everyone at The Rogue. All the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, Halsey, Duckhead, True Grit, and more at The Rogue, 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or at therogue.com. And while you're in Jackson, stop by Heron Gear Chevrolet and see our friend Joey Erickson. Let him help you find the vehicle you're looking for at a price you can afford. Choose from a full selection of new Chevrolet vehicles or get a great deal on numerous brands of reliable pre-owned vehicles. Give Joey a call or a text on his cell, 662-571-2367. Tell him what you're looking for, or stop by 1685 High Street in Jackson to test drive that new or used vehicle you've been wanting. Let him earn your business. And with any purchased vehicle, just mention the Oxford Exxon Podcast or the Soft Verbal Podcast and get a $50 gas card.
ESPN got a story on the new Moneyball. 2 MLB teams. Everyone else is copying, evaluating prospects. 1 for pitchers, 1 for offense.
Okay.
Any guesses on who the 2 might be?
San Diego.
Nope.
I
mean, I'm not going to hang you out there for 5 minutes.
I know who it's not. It's not the Cubs.
It is not the Cubs. That is a correct assertion.
I don't know.
It is the Cleveland Indians for the pitching.
Oh, yeah.
And it is the Tampa Rays for an offense.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Those guys in Cleveland.
And since it's
really
a money
good.
ball thing, and it needs to be somebody who doesn't have all the money in the world, I'm assuming. So Padres have just spent quite a bit of cash.
They have, but they also have a wonderful system.
They do. That is that's very true. So,
Trevor Lawrence staying home for the draft, is that right? Good for him.
as opposed to what?
Going to Cleveland.
Oh yeah, no.
Saying a lot of
I guess I have 2020 in my head. I keep forgetting where.
Yeah. No, the commissioner got he got his shots. He's gonna be free to hug players.
Oh really?
Yeah.
We can hug.
You can hug now.
Okay.
Coming a long way.
We can pass jerseys back and forth. So
I don't know about that, but you can hug.
we can hug.
Next year you can kiss.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, for $50 million, I will take all the hits anybody ever wants to send.
Couldn't PR you out enough? Could it
You could just
say whatever you want?
anything.
That's
and I'd
fine.
sit there and just take it with a smile.
You'd be the NFL punching bag.
I would be Jimbo Fisher getting off that plane.
When he sees the Korean marching band and goes, you know what? It's all right.
It's all right. In his mind, he's going, money, $70 million. $70 million. By the time he got through hearing that song and he's thinking about $70 million, he's looking around going, these cheerleaders are kind of cute. $70 million.
Dog's nice enough. I can pet the
It's
dog.
a collie. Who doesn't like a collie?
It's fine.
Looks like Lassie. Here, girl. $70 million. Oh, I get a ring? You want me to tap it on the table? $70 million.
Did you get a ring?
I don't know.
You think Jim?
He
I
heard-
bet you got to graduate from there to get a ring.
He heard them.
I bet they don't just give out rings.
Probably not. He probably doesn't want one.
You don't think he wants a ring?
Not one of those. $70 million. I'd wear all maroon all day for the rest of my life for $70 million.
You would.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That kind of money? All you got to do is wear a maroon tie sometime? Yeah, in.
You think he's staying as a top 6-8 program?
I do.
There the rest of the time?
I think they're about to become a legitimate contender. And if I'm wrong, I'll eat it.
Yeah,
I've
sure.
been wrong before, but yeah, I think so. They are recruiting at a really high level.
They are. Who's their quarterback?
I don't know. But I mean, I don't think anybody ever watched Mond and went, "Oh." I mean, Kellen was good, and he's going to go second, third round in the draft. But
Speaking of Roger Goodell, I see this going out at 4:55 yesterday. The SEC will not require fully vaccinated individuals who are asymptomatic to participate in the league's surveillance testing program, according to an updated version of its COVID-19 protocols. As long as they've been approval from their local health authority, fully vaccinated SEC staff and players will no longer have to quarantine following any exposure to someone with COVID-19. So we're taking steps here, guys.
we are taking some small common sense steps
I
here.
mean, that's a
Look, if you want people to get vaccinated, you need to put a reward on the other side.
well. It's like the PGA Tour got hit a little bit this week.
If you want your dog to sit,
the treat.
a little treat expedites it.
The PGA Tour's had 3 or 4 COVID withdrawals this week. And I get that some states have had higher testing necessities and different things, but you're playing golf for $6.5 million. Probably worth getting vaccinated to not run into that issue.
Of course.
Because I think the PGA Tour came out and said they're going to, because of not every state or country having testing available or vaccines available to the level that Mississippi obviously has at this point, I think they could continue testing through June, and then they're stopping. Basically saying through June, everybody should have had an opportunity at that point to taking care of it if they want to take care of it. So I saw somewhere where I think the testing stops at that point, sometime in June for the PGA Tour. I don't know what anybody else is doing. I have no clue.
Yeah, August and September are starting to look normal.
I have no idea if Ole Miss has players in any sport that are vaccinated or not vaccinated. I don't know how they've handled that. I'm assuming personal decisions all the way up, but you can't mandate it.
No, I mean,
So I don't know.
like you were talking about the Cubs a minute ago. I know they have a couple of players who not vehemently, but have said, I don't want to get vaccinated.
Have they really?
Yeah. And I don't see how an organization can say, well, you must.
No.
That feels
God,
like
no.
a violation.
Way too early, but bracketology I see has Florida getting one of the last 4 byes without being in a first 4 game next year. So not overly high on the Gators there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Keontae, I think, is going to try to come back and play.
Is he?
Yeah.
They have Auburn as an 8 seed. Arkansas is a 3.
Yeah.
Alabama's a 1.
Again?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
State is a 9.
LSU?
First 4 out or last 4 in. I
Okay.
saw it up there somewhere. I don't
Okay.
remember which.
Kentucky?
Florida's a 10. I'm looking. Kentucky's a 5.
Okay.
That's it.
No Rebels?
No Rebels. Tennessee's a 4.
Okay.
I missed that one. Yeah, Tennessee playing UAB in the first round. UAB
Oh.
at 13.
Okay.
All-minute qualifier winning Conference USA.
Yeah.
Yeah, first 4, no SEC teams at all. So LSU next 4 out. So LSU 5 through 8 out.
Oh.
Not high on.
That wouldn't be good for old Will. Think Will's still the coach there this time next year? Is Will Wade still the coach at LSU this time next year? April 28th.
Until Will Wade is fired and like his office is packed and he's out the door, he's the coach. I refuse to play that game because LSU's not running him out.
No, NCAA's going to have to run him out because LSU doesn't want to pay him.
We think the NCAA's going to get to that point in a year?
I don't know.
Come on.
You had Mississippi State in the tournament, right?
9.
As a 9, okay.
Yeah. No, I'm not counting. I mean, Will Wade's got like 18 lives at this point. No, I'm not.
Nashville bars and restaurants going back to 100% normal in May.
Are they? I didn't see that.
Money starts to talk.
Getting time of year and everything.
Sure.
It's people want to be outside. They want to.
Yeah. Have you been a rebel yet and walked through a store that you were supposed to wear a mask without a mask? Have you done it yet?
I don't think so, but I keep forgetting a mask.
Yeah.
I've sometime mentally over the last couple weeks, they're no longer in my pocket. Like
Yeah.
I might have one in the car, I might not. I did have to. I was somewhere the other day, and I got out of the car and I got to the door, and I'm like, I don't have a mask, so I really have to turn all the way back around. Like, and I did, but
Yeah.
I'm like. And I kind of waddled back to the car a little bit and like had to like open the trunk. I was having to flip through to find a mask, and I do think I'm subconsciously going to places that don't require them more than I even realize I am.
Sure.
I'm not boycotting. I'll put the damn thing on if I
Sure.
want to eat there, but I do think if it's all the same, I'll just do
There's
this.
no doubt about that.
I do think there's a segment of that a little bit, but I mean. It still is scary how just human nature it is to just kind of slide it over. Like, I don't really think about it per se.
Yeah.
Because it didn't even bother me as badly on the plane a few weeks ago as I thought it was going to. It's heat that bothers me.
Mhm.
If it's frankly over 70,
It gets hot.
Yeah, I mean, I
know.
told you, I almost feel waterboarded a little bit where it just kind of – they're kind of nice in cold weather. Might keep one in there for when it's windy and stuff. I mean, it's kind of protected the face a little bit.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even like – I don't do it, but a few people do. Walking from the parking lot to Swayze when the temperature's up, I'm like, that's just a far enough walk that I wouldn't want to.
No, of course.
Like, because we park over by the football stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a decent little hike.
Those are the people I don't get. Like, they're outside and wearing them, and I'm like, man, that's got to be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's hot.
it cannot be comfortable.
Yeah.
I walked through. I didn't have one today, and I had pulled up at Kroger. I needed to get 3 things.
Okay.
And I contemplated, do I get back in the car and drive over to Larson's and shop for the same 3 things, even though I don't necessarily know where those 3 things are there?
Yeah.
Because I go there for certain things.
Yeah.
Or do I just do this? And I just went in.
And it was fine.
Yeah. I would guess 2/3 to 3/4 of the people were masked.
Okay.
Nobody said anything. I got a couple of looks. That was it.
I didn't see anybody without a mask on in there whatever day I went earlier in the week or last week. But I wasn't necessarily looking. I just didn't notice it.
I was in Kroger without headphones and without a mask.
You were very naked.
I felt naked.
Yeah,
I was like, man, I mean,
somebody could have come up to you and really talked. I mean, that could have been a God.
Seen my face and everything.
Well, there is a certain like incognito effect. Like if you kind of wear glasses or anything and a hat and a mask, like you're kind of Unabombery a little bit. Like nobody knows who the hell you are as you're walking through a store.
Well, I mean, if you had told someone 5 years ago that someone would walk into a grocery store,
we'd all be hitting the deck.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'd be like, it's Ted Kaczynski.
Yeah. I was just saying, put a hat, a mask, and some glasses on. Who are you? I don't know.
Oh, there were a couple of times that just to be a smartass about it, I would put a hoodie over my baseball cap.
And no one,
Just to be like, look at this, y'all. This is stupid. And no one said a word.
Yeah. All right. Enjoyed talking to you guys today. Again, rebelgrove.com. A lot more on the Randy Clements situation and whatever else. I actually will probably put a Hoagland thread up here in a minute as well. So a lot of stuff there. Subscribe if you are a subscriber. We'll talk to you over there before we talk to you again here. So enjoy your day, and we'll talk to you again very soon.